Let's install a stair section. First, prepare all posts and mounting surfaces before installation. Transform cable rail must be installed on 4-inch by 4-inch wood posts sleeved with transform post sleeves to support cable tension. Temporarily secure a plank on the nose of the stairs alongside of the posts onto which you are installing the stair rail. The thickness of the plank will determine the space between the stairs and the bottom rail. Mark the post where the top of the plank hits to determine bottom beam placement and repeat for all posts in your installation. Place the bottom beam onto the plank with the flat surface of the bottom beam facing down. Trace the angle of the posts at the inside edge of the posts onto the bottom beam. Remove your marked bottom beam and place your bottom rail onto your plank and clamp in place. Mark the angle of the posts on the bottom rail. Determine the placement of your top beam by making a mark at 33 3/8 of an inch from the deck surface for 36-inch finished rail height, or 39 3/8 inch from the deck surface for 42-inch finished rail height. Clamp your top beam into place on your posts so that the bottom of your top beam lines up with your marks. Then mark the top beam at the angle where it will need to be cut. Next, for installations over 42 inches, you'll need a mid-baluster support. To install, first center the mid-baluster support between your top beam and bottom rail at the top stair post to determine even spacing of holes. Mark on your mid-baluster support the angle at which to cut it at both ends. Cut your mid-baluster support at these marks, keeping in mind that both ends of your mid-baluster support will need to be cut on the angle to attach to the top beam and bottom rail. Using your cut mid-baluster support as a template, line it up at the top and bottom of your stair posts and mark your holes. Determine the placement of your mid-baluster support along your cable span and mark your top beam and bottom rail where the mid-baluster support will attach. Unclamp your bottom rail and top beam. Using a 7/32 of an inch drill bit for common redwood posts or a 15/64-inch drill bit for Douglas fir posts, pre-drill at least 1.5 inch deep into your posts where you've marked for the cable fittings. Re-drill through these holes, making sure to drill through the sleeve only using a 15/32-inch drill bit to allow the stair lag to anchor into the post. On a side note, to speed installation, we're using an AccuDrill Precision Drill Guide available at your local retail store. Repeat this step for the opposite side. Place your stationary lags into the pre-drilled top post holes and hand tighten the lags into the posts. Do not install the bottom lag onto the top stair post. You'll want to allow clearance when installing your bottom rail. Your fitting is secure when the shoulder of the fitting makes contact with the post. Repeat for all stationary lags. Next, place your extended stair lag into the bottom post holes and tighten by hand until the fitting makes contact with the post. Screw the tensioners onto the extended lags only so far as to cover the male threads on the extended lag and no more, since you'll need this slack when you tighten your cable runs. Repeat this for all remaining extended lags. Wrap enough masking tape around the bracket to allow it to fit snugly into the ends of the bottom beam and slide the bracket into the ends of the bottom beam. Align the brackets with the angle marked on the beam so that when the cut is made, the entire face of the bracket is cut, but as little material is removed as possible. With brackets secured into the bottom beam, cut through the beam and bracket together on the marked line to establish your installation angle. Install a set screw on the inside of the bottom beam, ensuring that your set screw connects the beam with the bracket as close as possible to the inside face of the bracket so that the screw embeds. Repeat this for the other end of the rail. You will also need to repeat this for your bottom rail. Set the bottom beam into position between the two posts and ensure alignment. Pre-drill the post for the center bracket screw using a 1/8 inch drill bit. Secure the brackets to the post using 3 mounting screws into each bracket, beginning with the center screw hole. Place the bottom rail support onto the nose of the tread that is nearest to the center of the stair rail section. Trace the bottom of the beam onto the support and cut the support to match the angle. For video purposes, we've already cut one. Place the cut support in position under the center of the bottom beam. Drill through the beam perpendicular to the tread surface using a 1/4 inch drill bit. It is necessary to drill the beam so the screw will be positioned at the front edge of the bottom rail support to prevent the beam from bowing during installation. Secure the bottom rail support using the supplied screw. Cut your bottom rail to the length and angle using the marks made in Step 4, using a miter saw with a carbide tip blade of at least 60 teeth. Next, repeat this preparation and cut your top beam and brackets exactly like you just did for the bottom. Using the mid-baluster support foot as a template, center the support foot on the marks that you made previously and mark the holes on your bottom rail and top beam. This is where your mid-baluster support connects to the top beam and bottom rail. Then, using a 3/16 inch drill bit, pre-drill the holes into your top beam and your bottom rail. Drive 2 panhead screws from the underside of the bottom rail to connect the mid-baluster support to the bottom rail. Drive 2 more panhead screws down through the top beam to connect the mid-baluster support to the top beam, being careful not to over-tighten as the pressure could cause the cut end of the mid-baluster support to crack the top beam. Snap the bottom rail over the bottom beam. Once you're sure that your top beam is properly aligned between the posts, pre-drill the post for the center bracket screw using a 1/8 inch drill bit. Secure the brackets to the post using 3 mounting screws in each bracket, beginning with the center screw hole. Repeat this on the other side. Using a 1/8 inch drill bit, pre-drill downward through the top beam and bracket. Snap the top rail onto the top beam by applying downward pressure, working from the bottom of the stair to the top end of the rail until the full length of the cover locks into place. At this time, install the remaining fitting in the pre-drilled hole at the bottom of your top stair post. Using the painted screws, install 2 of the screws upward from underneath each end through the pre-drilled location. This will secure the bracket, beam, and top rail together. Next, while ensuring that the cut cables are clean, burr-free, and tightly wound, insert the cables into fittings approximately 1 1/16 of an inch until you feel it rest against a hard stop. Once the cable is locked into one end of the fitting, feed the other end through the mid-baluster support, if you're using one for an installation over 42 inches. Pull the cable taut alongside the extended lag with tensioner and mark the cable at the score line indicated on the body of the tensioner and cut the cable at this mark. Loosen the tensioner so that approximately 5 or 6 threads are showing, and then push the cable into the fitting, twisting the fitting in the direction with the lay of the cable. Once the cable has bottomed out in the fitting, pull the cable away from the post to help set the locking mechanism to lock the cable into the fitting. Then, hand tighten the fitting back to its original position. Tension the cable by holding the cable gripping portion of the fitting stationary, using a 3/8 inch wrench as you rotate the female threaded portion of the fitting with an additional wrench. Tension all the cables to your desired amount in sequence, beginning with the bottom cable, then the top, then second up from the bottom, then second down from the top, and so on. The number of cable runs will be determined by finished rail height and use if using optional bottom rail. Don't forget your post caps.